guys, it's Emma and this is my second ever YouTube video, so if you're here, thank you. In my first video we did some Reddit stories and today we're going to continue with that. Today we're going to look at some Bridezillas and I've got to admit this is one of my favourite categories in Reddit, so hopefully this will be enjoyable for you. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Co-worker asked me to be her man of honour. I said no and she went nuts. What did I miss? This happened yesterday and I'm still confused. Just to give you a little update, this was posted 102 days ago, so I guess it happened 103 days ago. Yesterday was my first day back at work after being off for 2 weeks. This is kind of important. One of my co-workers had gotten engaged the week before I left. When she announced at work, we all did the congratulations and happy for her type things. I thought it was over. So when I left for vacation, the last I knew no plans had been made yet. Then yesterday, when I went back to work, my boss Kay and my best friend Elle said that co-worker C was looking for me. I asked what was up and they weren't sure, but she was carrying a little gift bag. A few minutes later, C found me and asked how my vacation was. I was telling them about it and she cut me off and said that she had a very important question to ask. She handed me a little gift bag and asked if I would be her best man of honour for her wedding. I thanked her and told her that typically this would traditionally go to a close female relationship. She responded that there was nothing traditional about her wedding, so it was good. I looked over at Elle and Kay, who were both trying to keep themselves from laughing. I swear when I said this, it was when we watched her entire demeanour change. She went off saying that I have to be in her wedding and that she doesn't understand why I would say no. I told her that we only knew each other for a short time and that I had no interest in trying to plan dinners, parties or shopping trips. She told me I needed to think about it and she would get back to me later. I told her to go for it, but my answer will be the same. She walked away and I looked at Kay and Elle and asked what the ever-loving fresh creepy hell was that. Kay started to laugh and she said she didn't know. Elle made the comment that she went straight to Bridezilla and this was a look into what she was going to be like. C came back today, however. She went with a different approach and handed me a list of what she wants me to do and her vision of how she sees things. I asked her why she gave me this and she said that as her man of honour, these were my responsibilities. I told her again that I was not going to do any of this. Enter Kay, who could sense that I needed help and told C that one of her patients needed her help. I told Kay that if this keeps up, I might need her to help. She said that she was already watching it and would intervene if needed. What did I miss? We aren't that close. She just transferred down to my unit from a different unit 6 months ago. I had no idea who she was until that point. Elle was saying that she is close in age to me and she might feel that to be good enough of a connection. Did I miss something? When we are asked, are we supposed to automatically gush and jump up and down in excitement? Why is saying no such a bad thing? Okay, break.
A few moments later.
So reading through some of this OP Reddit page, he is gay, so it does feel like she's gone for the oh my wedding is not traditional and let me use my gay best friend trope and chuck him into the wedding party to be my man of honour because I'm not traditional. It's kind of giving having to mention that you have a gay friend, and it's a bit like pick me energy, which is just, I'm not here for it and I don't think many people are, but I don't think he did anything wrong. He was quite honest with her and he wasn't rude, and then for her to say I'll come back to you, it's like, let the man make a decision and just accept that decision. Okay, you don't want a traditional wedding, but that's not his problem. And to say you've only known each other 6 months and that's not even as friends, that's as work colleagues, it's a bit odd. It's giving desperate. Let's read through some of the comments. It sounds like she has no one else in her life and you being around her age and nice to her was enough for her to give you the honour. Stay firm and don't give in. It is sad when you don't have friends, and especially with a wedding when it's kind of expected of you to present your friends in a way, and if you don't have that, I can see it being hard. But to put that pressure on someone else is not fair. Yeah, I think he should stay firm. Could she be putting a lot of weird stereotypes into play and trying to make you her gay best friend and wedding planner? So that's kind of similar to what I said. I feel like it does give off that vibe. Maybe her not having many friends or not having many people, she maybe looks to film and media, and the gay best friend thing is quite a familiar trope in usually like chick flicks or romance films. So maybe she's kind of not away with the fairies. I think that's a bit harsh, but I don't know what to say. I don't want to be rude, but I think you get what I'm getting at.
Huh?
I didn't even look at his post history, and knew she was trying to have the gay bestie, but like he's an accessory rather than a fully fledged person. True. That's what I was saying as well. Like, I do think it's damaging when the media portrays this sort of friendship relationship based on someone's sexuality, and it's so commonly used that people do bring it into their reality lives. And especially if you're struggling with friends or you haven't had that sort of socialization, it can be easy to think what you're watching or reading is how you should live your life or how you should proceed with friendships and relationships. I have good news. There is an update. There is actually 3 more updates, so hang in there. I'm gonna hang in there. Hey everyone, first I apologise. I never thought this was going to go as crazy as it did. I want all of you to know I read all of your responses and responded to as many as I was able to. Thank you for all your amazing insights and comments, many of which made me laugh, which I needed. I have been sick and that really helped cheer me up. See, this is why I love Reddit. Reddit is just such a lovely community most of the time. I had to meet my lawyer today regarding family issues. My neighbour, best friend, co-worker Elle took me. I really felt awful and driving wasn't a good idea. We were talking about this on the way and we were both asking a lot of the same questions that you were all asking. The big one was that we were asking about the circumstances of her transfer. I have to work tomorrow, so we will see what happens, but Elle and I are going to ask Kay about the transfer and raise a couple of concerns. Many of you have asked if C and I hang out outside of work. The answer is no. I really don't know anything about her. Our relationship is 100% purely work related. That was why I was so surprised when she asked me to do this. I have a very small friend base, and in all honesty, I like to keep it that way. I really have no interest in being part of this. I'm not a wedding person. I would rather use that money and spend the time planning my next trip or vacation. Many people said that I was being used as a token or prop in the wedding. I admit that I'm out and proud, but I'm not going to just pretend to be someone's friend so they can fulfill some kind of fetish they have. It takes me a lot to get offended, but if this were actually the case, then I would really be rather offended. A lot of people have said that maybe she doesn't have a boyfriend. She does. She has brought him in before. If she has any insecurity, I don't understand it. She's attractive, smart, and knows her stuff. Just on that note, I feel like you can have all those things, like a romantic relationship, a job, knowledge, attractiveness, but if you don't have that friendship and socialization, it can still be really hard, and maybe that's what's going on here, but I'm not excusing her behaviour, but that may be a reason. A lot of people have said to go to HR. I'm starting that process with my boss Kay. She is completely aware of the situation being with us when it all happened. She has told me that she is watching the situation and will jump in if I need her to. I trust her completely. While Kay and HR can control the situation from the hospital, they can't control the situation from a personal level if she were to maybe follow me home or a situation like that. So I think that covers it all. I wish I could say this is over, but likely there is more to come. Set your update on me. And there is an update. I'll read the comments after the final update because there's not really a conclusion until that bit, so it makes more sense. This intro is going to be long, but I'm telling you about it for a reason, and later in this update it will make sense. I'm hoping this will be done and that this will be the last one of this whole situation. I was born into a family where I was referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with. I lived in the shadows of my sister, who was the child my parents wanted. They wanted one child, which was a girl. That way Dad had his daddy's girl and Mum had Mummy's little princess. Then I came along. Keep in mind that I'm 23, so back then my parents had options but chose not to use any of those options. So instead my parents raised my sister and I was raised by a nanny, who even to this day is one of the biggest influences in my life, and I'm so grateful for her. She helped me with so much. I finally realised that all these years later that I'm being referred to as an issue that needed to be dealt with, that they stripped me of my humanity and individuality and self-worth as a person. I think that's why I've worked so hard to establish myself in my career and in my life, as a way to become a person again and not just be that issue that needed to be dealt with. That's sad. This past Thursday, things came to a head with the Bridezilla known as C, and the truth came out. My best friend Elle has been sticking close to me when we worked together. We weren't sure if she was going to leave it alone or start it up again. I was really hoping that it was done, but she had to try once again. I've been sick and I had a busy morning, so I really just wanted a few minutes to go to the bathroom, grab a quick snack and maybe breathe. C came up and had her list and asked if I had a few minutes to talk about wedding planning.
Oh my god.
I looked at her and told her again, no, that I was not interested in being part of her wedding and that I was not going to help in any way, and she needed to drop the subject and leave me alone. Again, she went into the whole thing of how I was going to do this and how much fun it was going to be. Here we go with that line all of you loved the first time. Why in the ever-loving, fresh, creepy hell is it so important for me to be your man of honour? I am not interested and I am not doing it. She was planning to keep using me as a token or a play toy. She took all of the fucked up gay stereotypes that are out there in society and put them in one sentence. What modern liberal woman isn't going to have a gay bestie on her arm for special events? I felt everything in my stomach move and a wave of nausea come over me, and I felt like I couldn't go to the bathroom fast enough. This pissed Elle off to no end. Elle is like an overprotective sister that I wish I would have had, and took C off to visit our boss Kay and laid it all out. While I wasn't in on that conversation, Elle and Kay filled me in on what was said. Kay came to check on me and I was still hiding in the bathroom. She knocked on the door and asked if she could come in. I asked her for a bottle of water first. While I was waiting, I realised two things. I realised why I chose to not hang out with her and why I didn't like her. I realised that I didn't like her because she is a different version of my sister. Whilst she is educated and employed, she doesn't care about other people and their feelings. She is like my sister in the sense that if she wants something bad enough, she will figure out how to get it. She completely dehumanized me and reduced me to an entity. Just kind of turned me into a token or a thing for her. I think the word that best describes it is I must be a play toy. What really gets to me is that just like my sister, C doesn't think she did anything wrong, and I'm being too sensitive and a delicate snowflake. The next day, an emergency meeting was held at work and C is being suspended, pending an investigation, and a new transfer is being looked into. Kay made the request for her to be terminated. The director of emergency nursing said that this was the last resort, but she was going to be looking into options which could be sending her to a new hospital or facility. This didn't go over well with me. I asked what would happen if she did the exact same thing to someone different. She didn't really give me an answer, but she said that she still needs to look into a few things and at this point she is suspended. Anyway, here it is. I'm still pretty sick and I had to work this weekend. If I can, I'll respond. I want to thank everyone for the amazing support. I'm going back to my lawyer to see if he can figure out how to send a cease and desist letter to make sure she doesn't contact me. I'm heading to bed now. Have a good night. What I'm thinking from this one, I'm not going to go into too much because there's one final update. I wonder why she was moved in the first place, because I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's quite a big deal in like medical centres to move someone to a different facility or a different department. So I wonder what happened for her to move down to the ER. Maybe we'll find out. I went back to my lawyer the other day and told him everything. I told him I only had her name, but I did not have her address. And since he has resources that I don't, I wanted to find her and send her a cease and desist letter to not contact me. He was looking into this. The good news, C has been terminated. While I'm not able to talk about all the details, I can say that this goes a lot deeper than what she did to me, and after Kay did some digging, it brought out some information that could have put the hospital in a serious position. When this information was brought out in the open, it gave the Director of Emergency Nursing no choice but to terminate her. I guess I can say that this is closed, at least I hope it is. I need to move on with my life. I doubt that C will be dumb enough to contact me. She is in enough trouble and this would only be made worse. Thank you again for your amazing support. So it seems as if something probably did happen for her to be moving to a different department. I wonder what it was. There's no more updates, so we don't know. There is a bit at the top that I didn't read because it was a lot of medical jargon. But it talks about a 14 gauge needle and how you should realistically never have a reason to use it. So I'm guessing maybe she used one when it was definitely not needed. And there's also a thing here about patient privacy. So I'm guessing maybe she didn't respect that. She just seems like a woman that is very self-centered in a way that she can ask and do what she wants. But yeah, that was pretty juicy. I mean, it took a turn. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, she was just so annoying, and then I ended up being her man of honor because I was kind of her friend and the wedding was a disaster. But this turned into medical negligence. It's crazy. Reddit is crazy. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments, and we'll move on to our next story. Woo. Okay, in this one we have an in-law drama, so let's go. My future sister-in-law is the reason I'm cancelling my wedding and instead doing a destination wedding. So I'm a 31-year-old female, my now husband is 30 male, and my sister-in-law is 19. My husband does not have the best relationship with his sister due to his parents favouring her. Little background. My husband's parents were having marital issues and heading for divorce around the time my sister was conceived. When they found out that they were pregnant, they decided to seek counselling and get help. In the end, they resolved their problems and their relationship became stronger. They viewed their daughter as the reason they were able to save their marriage. She is spoiled. For example, they got her a car for her birthday. She totaled it in 4 days. She borrowed her mum's car after and had it totaled too. Due to her reckless driving, the insurance company will not allow her to be insured under her parents. We were dating at the time when his mother asked my husband if he could please put her on his insurance and she would pay. My husband at the time was buying a new car and didn't want to deal with this situation and told his mother no. Another example was we had gotten tickets to see Taylor Swift in Europe for a vacation alone. His sister found out and demanded that she go instead of me. His father called and demanded that we change our plans and take his sister. My husband said he could not do that because he didn't pay for the vacation or the tickets. My parents did. We were harassed for months about this. Finally, 3 months after we were engaged, we visited his parents. At the time, his sister had her friend living with her and her parents. This was a female 17. This friend developed a crush on my husband. He He was extremely uncomfortable with the girl's attention towards him. His sister wanted them to date and asked his parents to talk about it. He refused and said he was engaged and is not interested in teen girls. That's super weird. Now to the wedding. My in-laws are only attending it if my sister-in-law is bridesmaid. I agreed to keep the peace and gave it to her as an honorary role, and don't expect her to be involved as much as my other bridesmaid. The problem started immediately. First, she was flirting with another bridesmaid's boyfriend and sending him an inappropriate text. We don't know how she got the number. She refused to walk with her cousin, who is a groomsman, and tried to get her parents involved to switch to walk next to the best man. Her reason was because she couldn't hook up with her cousin. The best man is currently in a long-term relationship with the maid of honor, and they are how we met.
Just as I thought. Trash.
The final straw was with what she said to my maid of honor. My maid of honor is my cousin and my best friend. My maid of honor is hard of hearing and has to wear hearing aids due to an infection she had as a child. My maid of honor sometimes talks loud because she can't hear and judge her own volume. My sister-in-law has been teasing my maid of honor non-stop, yelling and saying that I wanted to make sure she heard me. She made reference to my godchildren being born out of wedlock and said her boyfriend, the best man and the father of her children, will come to his senses and find a tight woman. My maid of honor has been quiet about all of this because she doesn't want to cause problems for me. I found out because my other bridesmaids told me after the bridal shower. At the bridal shower, my husband and myself were aware and gave our blessing to his best man to propose to my cousin, the maid of honor. It happened and everyone was excited apart from my sister-in-law. That was the final straw. When my maid of honor was heading back to the table, she took out her hearing aids because the music was causing a headache. The hearing aids were in a glass of water with my sister-in-law laughing. I was done and removed her from the wedding party and disinvited her from the wedding. My in-laws were blowing up our phones saying that their daughter was only joking and that's her sense of humour and my maid of honor can't take a joke. They said if she cannot come to the wedding, they will not come. This has been going on for months. My husband's family is on our side. Apparently we have been flooded with phone calls and messages of support from his family. The reason why? Because they also have stories of how badly my sister-in-law has acted towards them. My husband has already said that. My family is his and anyone who mistreats anyone I care about is not his people. We have decided with the help of our wedding planner to do a destination wedding, pushing the wedding date back 6 months in Hawaii. We got most of our deposit back, family is helping with the rest. My husband has called his parents and told them they are not invited and his sister will not be invited. They are livid and have started as of an hour ago going to social media to tell their side of the story. They claim that their daughter was just making jokes and pranks. Nobody has been buying it. They tried to contact my parents who shut them down immediately. We are now no contact with my husband's parents or sister. We get updates from my husband's aunt. As for my mother and father-in-law, they came crying to my husband's aunt. Apparently the insurance company found out they were letting their daughter drive their cars, even though they warned her that she would not be insured under their policy and the insurance company dropped them. We don't know if sister-in-law got into another accident or someone reported us to the insurance company. However, they were sobbing to my husband's aunt and they were struggling to find an insurance policy they could afford. My husband's aunt was tired of hearing the sob stories and brought up the bridal shower incident and how her own daughter has been bullied by sister-in-law. She was embarrassed for her nephew. My mother-in-law and father-in-law said that my sister-in-law confessed she was jealous of my maid of honor's relationship with the best man. She apparently had a long crush on him and was upset that he was getting engaged to maid of honor. Mother and father-in-law tried to excuse this behaviour as a teenage girl acting out. My husband's aunt was having none of it and told them that they ruined their daughter and probably ruined the relationship with my husband and any future with us. My husband's aunt asked them to leave and said that she hopes they get everything they deserve for how they treat their children. She was not going to help them with their insurance problems. Now for sister-in-law. Still lives with my in-laws. She lost her job, nobody knows why. And frankly, I don't care to know. She is not in college due to poor grades and lack of direction. She blames me for her family not talking to her and being kicked out of the wedding, and I'm proud I did, so she can blame me as much as she likes. As for our wedding celebration, we are doing a small ceremony on a beach, and any family that wishes to come can book a hotel on the main island. We are not going to give the location of our wedding or the reception until the day of the wedding, except for the wedding party, and we will hire security. I'll update you when it happens or if anything else happens. So that is the last update. This was posted 115 days ago, so I'm guessing in a couple of months' time it might be their wedding. So we can revisit this, I'll save it. So let's get into my opinions. I think sister-in-law sounds like a nightmare and a spoiled brat. I can understand the parents being really grateful for her as they see it as saving their marriage, but I mean, she technically didn't do anything, so you don't have to treat her like God. She has to be held accountable, especially as she's getting older now. I feel like the stuff she does is very odd, like the constant crushes and trying to be with men that are already in relationships. The main thing really is the hearing aid thing. It's just so disgraceful, and for her parents to not see that, it's like they're completely blinded by this thing that happened 17 years ago, which is getting pregnant with her. And I mean, is it that special really? Because people be popping out babies all the time, and okay, this one saved your marriage, but they don't give her a free pass. I'm glad that they changed their wedding and are doing something that they want to do, and yeah, don't invite your in-laws because they don't deserve to be there. And it's really nice to see a husband supporting that, because a lot of the times on these Reddit stories, the husbands just don't. It's not that they don't see it, I feel like they don't want to see it, and then they usually blame the wife, like, oh, you're overreacting. I read a story recently, and I've heard it on a few podcasts, about a mother-in-law that assumed her daughter-in-law was cheating and went in the night and cut all her hair off, and the husband just knew about it. And it's like, what? Like, sometimes mothers and sons, their relationships are weird, and when you get a wife or a daughter-in-law or whatever involved, it can just, like, the cracks start to form for real. But luckily that didn't happen in this situation. I don't have hearing aids, but if I saw that happening, my blood would be boiling and probably punch them in the face. Oops, a tooth broke. I was just joking. It's my sense of humour is how I would respond. Your sister-in-law is a brat who is indulged by your in-laws, and she's going to mess with the wrong one someday and get an arse whipping, land in jail, or who knows what. But she'll have to answer for her actions, and they won't be able to bail out their little baby with the pathetic excuses, and quite honestly, it can't happen soon enough. I feel sorry that you will be related to them, but at least your husband has your back in all of this and stands by you. That's nice. Yeah, and it's not even just the husband, it's like the husband's extended family too, which is really nice to see. So this is obviously a problem that's been going on for a long time, but they are right. She will mess with the wrong person one day, and I hope it just teaches her a lesson, but it probably won't. She probably blames someone else for it, but at least that lesson will come. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please do subscribe and like this video. Leave any comments and suggestions of what I should do next, or even just some advice on YouTube or how I can improve my videos. It would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, I am hoping to post 2 to 3 times a week. Look out for that. Thank you again for coming to my channel. Have a great day. Bye. Thought you might enjoy this footage of me realising my top was on the wrong way round halfway through the video. and also that I was looking down the whole time and I looked asleep. I am sorry about that. But my question is, are you an early bird or a night owl? I am a night owl. Bye!